out. If you like new stuff before anybody else, if you like to keep your finger on the pulse, if you like the future and want to be in it, keep on listening because we'll start in a minute. Techwebcast. The hosts and guests are unsurpassed. Techwebcast. Cause technology, it moves so fast. Techwebcast. Ha! Stick around and you're gonna have a blast. Yeah! Techwebcast. Ha! Ha! Techwebcast. Let's go!
Welcome to episode 337 of the Techwebcast podcast, recorded on the 13th of June, 2015. Techwebcast is recorded every Saturday at midday Melbourne time. Please rate us on iTunes and like us on Facebook.com/TechWebcast and follow us on Twitter at TechWebcast. And be sure to download the Techwebcast iPhone app. Your hosts today are Brad, Belinda, Jody, Jacob, Steve, and myself, Jennifer. And we have a special guest today, Miss Georgia Dow from imore.com. Hi, Brad.
Hi, Jennifer. How are you?
I am super. How are you doing?
I'm super.
Wonderful. You got it. It's been a busy
how's your
week.
week been, Jennifer?
It's been good. I was really excited about all the Apple events this week, WWDC. So that was a lot of fun to watch. And so it's been a pretty exciting week tech-wise.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, good stuff. And any exciting caught your eye at the Apple event? I know you got a new Apple Watch.
You know what? Watching the event made me, and what was coming for Apple Watch, and it made me want to get the Apple Watch. So during the event, I ordered the Apple Watch.
I knew it. I told that to Jacob, and I was spot on. I was right.
I know. I was trying to hold off. I was like, I don't need it. But then, when everyone is all excited about it, you just kind of, after a while, you have the peer pressure and you give in. So, yeah. So we'll see. But I was pretty excited about iOS 9, El Capitan. So I went ahead and put the beta of iOS 9 on my phone and like it so far. I haven't had glitches yet, knock on wood.
Yeah. Stuff. Have you got the iPad Air, Jennifer? iPad Air 2?
I don't have the iPad Air 2, but I even thought maybe I should buy an iPad Air 2 so I could put iOS 9 on it and do the split view. Yeah, but no.
That's my favorite feature of that iOS 9 on the iPad Air 2, split view, which is cool.
Do you have an iPad Air 2?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, did you put iOS 9
No,
on
I haven't yet. No, I'll wait till it comes out.
Yeah. You'll wait. Yeah.
I'll wait, yeah. All right, good stuff. Jennifer, enjoy the new watch when you get it.
Thank you.
Good stuff. Belinda, how's your week been?
Yeah, pretty busy working. I work Monday to Friday, so for like 8 hours a day. So it's an interesting job though, monitoring media. So get to find out about all the tech stuff as well, especially the Apple event. That was a big thing. I liked the announcement of the Mac, the update for the Mac, the El Capitan. Mm-hmm. Sounded like some of the new features on it make it much better than it is at the moment. It's pretty good at the moment, but the new features are pretty good. So yeah, and just been watching YouTube videos, watching some people making motor vlogs. So they're on motorbikes vlogging. So it's pretty interesting.
How do they do that?
Yeah. They have a GoPro on their helmet and just have a microphone inside the helmet. There's some kind of special microphone.
Oh, yeah, cool.
You can get. Yeah. So it's pretty awesome.
All right, good stuff. Jacob, welcome back, mate. How's your week been?
Oh, it's been very good. I got to do a FaceTime with you through the High Point mail.
Don't mention the shopping centre, mate, because I'll get sued for it. I can't mention the name.
The mall.
Oops. We'll have to bleep that out.
No, that's right. That's right. We went to the Apple store, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
What did you think of it?
I like it.
How was the video quality in that on 4G? Was it good?
Yeah, some places it dropped out.
Oh, okay. All right.
I can hear when your voice, whenever you're talking, it goes goes up and down. You can hear it sounds like someone just put something over your mic.
How does it go, Jacob? What's the sound again?
No words. You can hear it fading out. Going low quality.
Okay, that's cool. All right, good stuff, mate. What else has been happening, Jacob? Anything else, mate?
Nothing really, but been out going to the library and stuff like that.
Oh, that's you sent me another video, didn't you, the other day at the library?
Yes, I did.
Interesting. All right, anyway, let's go to Steve. How's your week been, Steve?
Pretty good. Enjoyed watching the Worldwide Developers Conference. It was interesting.
What was your favorite thing?
There's a couple of things. I mean, split view obviously is really nice. Actually, it's got a couple of features for that. One of their programming languages, Swift, is now open source, which was kind of interesting. Mm-hmm. And I think some performance enhancements as well. To me, it wasn't as nearly big, perhaps, than last year, but anything improvement in speed and performance is always welcome.
Okay. All right, mate. And anything exciting happened to you, Steve, during the week?
Not really. I mean, yeah, it's been fairly, average.
Okay, cool. All right. Jody, welcome back. How's your week been?
I've been having a terrific week, Brad. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Yeah, I mean, besides WWDC, I had a really big event. I opened my pool. And you probably could see on Facebook all my problems with the dogs jumping in the pool.
Oh, yeah.
I loved your videos. Yes.
Oh,
very cool.
I'm having so much fun. That's the app is called Cameo, and it's connected with Vimeo. I don't know if you use it, but it's real fun. You take the videos that on your phone, and then you can mosh them together, and so I've been having a lot of fun with that. But yeah, the dogs have been very bad and very wet. So and the Apple thing was cool too. I'm looking forward to eventually getting the watch, not the iWatch, the watch. Especially now that they are now, what did they announce, the operating system, the second operating system?
Yep.
So it looked like, they've upgraded some of the features, some of the things that people were complaining weren't introduced initially. Looks like they're catching up, and that's exciting. A lot of the other things, I'm sure we'll be talking about it, but the upgrade to the operating system. It's interesting that Microsoft introduces a new operating system, and obviously the Macs are going to be upgraded too. So all the Apple products. So it's just kind of interesting. But I don't know if you guys have been experiencing this or not, but I've had a lot of problems with my iPhone freezing, dropping.
Wow.
Just killing itself and then coming, resurrecting itself for no apparent reason. It seems like every time that there's a new operating system that's going to be released, until it is released generally, it seems like my phone is overly sensitive, and it goes on the fritz.
Are you using a beta?
No, I'm
okay.
still on 8.
So your iOS 8.3. I think 8.3. Yeah. No, I didn't experience any issues on mine at all. Now, are you using the iPhone 6 or 6 Plus?
I'm on a 5S.
I'm about to say.
Oh, there you go.
There
you go.
That must be it.
No, well, I'm using the same thing.
Jen, this is by design. I'm not a fan of the bigger size. My daughter and my mom, I bought them both a 6, not a 6 Plus. I just find that it starts becoming a phablet, and to me that it's not. I mean, I like having the ability to stick it in my pocket, or, put it on the handlebar of my motorcycle, or, I mean, it just, the bigger it gets, the more unwieldy. Yeah. So, I don't know, hoping that when they come to the 6S, that they're going to keep one of the smaller sizes.
6S Mini.
So, that's my brother.
Yeah.
6S Mini.
6S.
6S, yeah.
No, I'm just making up a size.
6S.
Yeah. Okay. Also, we have got Georgia on today as a guest. Welcome, Georgia.
Hi. I snuck in.
Yay.
Yay.
Good sneaking.
Yeah,
We didn't hear you.
That's what I do. I'm part ninja.
Yeah. How's your week been?
It's been great. Though I was not at Dub Dub, I did get to watch it live, and we podcasted while we watched it, which was really, really funny, on Twit. So we got to see all of the exciting things that were going to be coming up with Apple, which was really cool.
Well, and what's your
That's
favorite
exciting.
thing that you seen at the event?
Okay, well, one of my favorite things was that, here we go, drum roll, please. There were women on the stage speaking about Apple products. So I was very excited. I had streamers, a little hat to wear if women were going to come onto the stage. So I was very excited I got to do that. It wasn't Angela Arendt, but pretty good besides that. And I love the fact that I'm going to get to Siri becomes a little bit closer to Jarvis, which, I want to be like Iron Man and be able to, have my phone actually do stuff that would be a little bit more intelligent and help me out. I also love the fact that the watch is getting native applications. So
Yeah.
that's going to be really cool because I really enjoy my watch, but I don't think it's even close to what its potential could be. And so I can't wait to see what will happen when we get native apps on my wrist. And that's why I can use my fabulous Fabulet, my 6 Plus, and keep it in my purse while my watch does all the work.
Touche.
Yeah, good stuff. I hear
Makes
G
sense.
plus sounds.
It wasn't me.
Wasn't me.
Must be Jody.
Not it.
Of course it must be me.
You're it. That's it.
So Jennifer, what's your view on the new music service that's coming out on June 29th?
Well, I will try the trial, but it will take a lot to get me to leave Spotify. I just am so invested in Spotify with my playlists and what I've subscribed to already and who I follow, and I really love the music discovery in Spotify. So it will really take a lot to get me to make the switch, but I will give it a shot and see what it's like. And I'm a little bit afraid that they might be a little bit too late to the game, but then I think a lot of the Apple fans will subscribe to it nonetheless. And there still are a lot of people out there that don't subscribe to a streaming service or they don't use Spotify or Pandora or RDO. There's still a good handful of people out there that still listen to terrestrial radio.
And Vincent, one of them, he listens to. He doesn't even sign up to none of them things.
Who?
Vincent.
Who's that?
Vincent Brown.
Oh, Vincent. Yeah, Vin doesn't either.
Example,
Yeah, he doesn't.
He has a huge playlist and stuff, and it'd be interesting to hear what he has to say about it. And
yeah, I think he'll do it because he's very involved. He's very much a part of the Apple ecosystem. So I think he'll subscribe.
I'll
to
be
it.
checking it out, and it looks pretty good to me. And some of the features on there and stuff, and it looks good. What about you, Belinda?
I'm thinking of staying with Spotify. I'm not sure. Like with the Apple one, have they got a free version like Spotify as well, so you can test it out?
Yeah, you can trial it for 3 months free.
Oh, okay, that's not bad. I might give it a trial and see what it's like compared to Spotify.
Yeah.
Could be good.
Yeah, it should be interesting to see what.
Yeah, I shouldn't dismiss it totally.
Yeah, the guy from Spotify wasn't happy about it. He was.
Oh well, competition's healthy, so you've got to have that.
Yeah, it is definitely. What about you, Steve? What's your view on it?
I'm not sure about Beats One. We'll see. I mean, currently I don't really stream music as much. I mean, occasionally I do. I normally use the Apple version just because I have it on my computer. I do see some problems with Spotify in the long run as far as keeping their current pricing, because they've been losing money year after year, so I don't think that they'll be able to sustain it for too many years in the future, but we'll see.
Okay. What about you, Georgia?
Well, I don't actually stream music anyways in the first place. So though I am intrigued by it, I'm probably not going to be one of the main use sources for that. I'll test it out for the main system. I think that one of the largest things Apple has in its pocket is that people are already registered with their iTunes, and they have a huge user base of hundreds of millions of people use Apple products, so they're already hooked up to iTunes. So it's really easy to sign up for a music program. And though it's the same price as Spotify with $9.99 a month, the family plan is a really big deal with 6 people for $14, well, $15 a month, which is pretty good to have 6 people in your home being able to use it. So I think Apple is always a force to be reckoned with. I'm probably not going to be the main use case, though I will try it out for free for the first 3 months that I get.
Cool. All right. Jacob, what about you?
I wouldn't. I wouldn't use Apple Music. I'm a hardcore Spotifyer.
Okay. All right. Good answer. What about you, Jody?
Personally, I'm not a fan of paid streaming music services. I grew up in a generation where you had free radio, terrestrial radio, or whatever the heck you guys are calling it. And honestly, they would play music so that you would get used to it, so you'd want to go out and buy it. And this concept of playing or paying in order to, I don't know, get a premium service, I don't see it. I'm not a fan. There's so many options out there; it just doesn't appeal to me. So,
one thing I want to say about radio is, for terrestrial radio, at least where I live, the station selection here is just really poor, and then we're being fed all the same music over and over and over again. So the thing I like about these services is that from music discovery, I learned about so many other indie bands that I never even knew of, and so many other artists. And then I subscribe to stations out of Australia and,
cool.
Triple J, so I love it. So that for me, it allows me to discover a lot more than I was never made aware of prior to Spotify or other music services. So that's kind of my thing on it.
But it's just like Pandora. Okay, Pandora started as an experiment, and it was a very good experiment because they would kind of classify the type of music you liked, and they would feed you music that was similar, and then you voted it up, voted it down. I believe they still have the same model. I don't understand that. I mean, as far as I know, I don't know. I mean, that to me seemed like a great way to discover music, but I don't know. I can't see paying for something because it's the new cool thing to do. It just doesn't appeal to me. So that's my 2 cents.
Okay, so Jennifer,
Crickets.
You use the TuneIn Radio, right?
I use what?
TuneIn Radio, the app.
TuneIn Radio? I don't use it anymore, but I did have it. Yeah, I have had it before.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah.
Listen to Australian stations now.
Yeah, that's right, because you can listen to stations all over the world with that. Yeah. No, I tend to just subscribe to the station's playlist through Spotify, but yeah, I know TuneIn, you can tune in live, to the stations all across the world, so it's pretty amazing,
Yeah, it is, definitely.
It's good. Yeah.
All right, okay, let's go to some news then.
Oh, the first story is actually all about what we just talked about. But let's go for it. I'll let you play the music. Thanks, Brad. And in Techwebcast news, the first story tonight is actually coming from Mashable.com. And it is just about what we were speaking about with Spotify and Apple Music. So Spotify recently announced that it now has more than 20 million subscribers to Spotify Premium. And last year at this time, it was 10 million subscribers. So that's one new subscriber every 3 seconds. Users of Spotify's free ad-supported tier are growing almost as fast, from 40 million to 75 million in a year. The company's latest funding round gave it an extra $526 million to play with and increased its total valuation by about 40%. This isn't an opponent that Apple should treat lightly, but not that Spotify is actually without troubles, among them profitability. The company actually lost $197 million last year on revenue growth of 45%. That was triple the previous year's loss. And if losses keep growing at this rate, Spotify will burn through its new funding in a few years or less. The company has long insisted its margins will improve when it scales up the user base. Indeed, 91% of Spotify's revenue comes from paid subscribers. So the news of 100% year-on-year growth in that paid tier will likely to have champagne corks popping in Stockholm. And there is slightly a perverse sense in which Spotify's image is actually enhanced by its not being profitable at this stage, because 70% of the outgoing cash goes to musicians via their labels. And given that some of those artists have complained about Spotify's existence, Radiohead, for example, Radiohead's Tom York famously called it, quote, The last fart of dying music corpse. Yes. The company,
Eloquent.
isn't it though? They can definitively state that it cares more for artists than it does for their own profit. Apple's war chest, of course, is significantly larger than Spotify's. With $180 billion of cash on hand, it could buy Spotify 10 times over and still have $100 billion to play with. But as in politics, money doesn't always translate into votes, not when you're the underdog rival with the right combination of likability. So that is it on the Spotify story. And over to you, Belinda.
Thanks. The next one's from Mashable.com as well. Twitter announced on Thursday that CEO Dick Costolo is resigning following months of criticism over his leadership and the social media company's product execution. From July 1st, Twitter co-founder Jack Dorsey will return as the interim CEO until the company finds a full-time replacement. Dorsey is also the CEO of mobile payments company Square, which he co-founded. In a statement, Dorsey said the future belongs to Twitter thanks in large part to Dick Costolo's dedication and vision. Costolo joined Twitter as CEO in 2009 when the startup was struggling to stay online without the typical fail whale service disruptions. Since its IPO in November 2013, Costolo and Twitter came under scrutiny from investors over sluggish user growth and executive shuffles. Shareholders are just happy to see anyone replace Costolo, and Dorsey has a chance to leave a lasting imprint. And over to you, Jen.
Thanks, Belinda. The next story is coming from TheVerge.com, and it is about the Vine app for iOS. There's an update for it that came out recently. So if you spend any amount of time on Vine, you've probably followed a healthy number of popular accounts that you check regularly. I know I do. And today, Vine's iOS app now lets users search to see a feed of new and trending videos. The new functionality looks to mirror how Twitter streamlined its own search feature after doing away with the Discover tab. Now, iOS users can search for popular hashtags and their specific users and see their best Vines and first and foremost. And over to you, Belinda.
Thanks, Jen. And Mac OS X El Capitan 10.11 has been announced. Some changes include being able to pin browser tags in Safari by dragging them to the left and airplaying videos in Safari without sharing the entire display. The new version of Safari also allows you to mute tabs without muting the entire Mac. This can be done through the Smart Search field. Spotlight search has been improved, and you can now get results for weather, sports, stocks, web video, and transit information. Along with this, the natural language engine feature allows you to search for things in the way you would say them. The new Mail app has a more advanced full screen mode that ensures the focus sticks to your incoming messages. You can also add events to the calendar in one click and exchange email with people not in your contacts. Mail even lets you know if a contact's email has changed. Users can also swipe emails on the screen to get rid of them. The new Maps app has transit information and allows you to get directions on your Mac, then pick them up on your iPhone. There is a new Notes app which allows users to create checklists, add photos and URLs. It also uses iCloud. The Photo app has been improved where you can integrate editing tools from third-party apps. The new Mission Control ensures every window is arranged properly and nothing is hidden. 2 windows can now be side by side as well. And OS El Capitan will be available for public release this autumn in Australia or fall in the USA. Over to you, Jen.
Thanks, Belinda. Next story coming from TheVerge.com, and it's all about the Apple Watch. Apple Watch is getting a software upgrade. At WWDC, Apple announced the next version of the watch's OS, henceforth known as the Watch OS. It's the first major update to Apple Watch, and it is a moment big enough that Tim Cook himself has announced himself at WWDC before handing it off to Kevin Lynch for all the details. The flagship feature will be native Apple Watch apps. And there's a lot more. And the developer beta is available. So if you are a developer, you can check that out. Apple Watch OS 2 adds a ton of small features in addition to native support. And a few of those features are new watch faces, including photo album face and a time-lapse face, a 24-hour lapse of iconic locales that are shot at different places and keyed to your local time. Additionally, app developers can now make their own complications, the unfortunately named term for the customizations option on watch faces. You can scroll forward in time via the digital crown and see things like upcoming events and temperatures. It's called time travel. And since you're charging your watch anyway at night, there is now a nightstand mode which shows the charge, time, and alarm. It activates when you place it on its side while charging. They also have multiple colors and digital touch drawings, multiple screens for friends, FaceTime audio, woohoo, and replying to email from your watch. Fitness app can now run natively, and Siri can actually start and stop the workouts. And there's new achievements for you as well. Apple Pay will support store and loyalty cards, just like the new iOS 9. And Maps on the watch got a lot more useful. It now supports transit directions, and Siri can get you mass transit directions. Speaking of Siri, it now shows you glances. So you can say, hey, Siri, hopefully my phone doesn't go on. Hey, Siri, show me the Instagram glances. And even if it's not installed. And they have, like I said earlier, custom watch faces. So a lot of changes coming, and we'll definitely have to keep our eyes open for the new Apple Watch apps and Watch OS 2.0. And over to you, Belinda.
Thanks, Jen. Apple showed off its new and enhanced multitasking mode for the iPad as part of its iOS 9 preview at the WWDC 2015. That's a mouthful. The iPad multitasking experience is built around slide over, split view, and picture-in-picture. Apple seems to have taken a lot of inspiration from how Windows tablet and touchscreen devices work in multitasking mode. There is a new task switcher which can be seen by double-tapping the home button. The slide over feature allows you to slide in from the side of the screen to bring in another app. For example, you can have Safari taking up 70% of the screen and other apps on the right-hand side. Split view mode lets you have two apps open and active on your screen simultaneously. This will only work on the iPad 2, however. Along with this feature, picture-in-picture allows you to put a small video player over the top of whatever you're looking at. This is available on the iPad Air and Air 2. So some good changes there for the Apple iPad. And that's all for the news.
Good news reading from Jennifer and Belinda. Good stuff.
Thank you. Good stories, you guys.
Yeah, good stories. Yeah, good stories, Jacob. Belinda, are you looking forward to that? Because I know you have an iPad Air too. Are you looking forward to them updates?
Yeah, definitely. Sounds like some good things coming up along there.
Yeah, definitely.
And especially the Mac thing I'm even more excited about because the email thing was pretty good, how it tells you when the email has changed. Because I hate it when people give you their email and then you don't know and they've changed it and they have to tell you about it and everything.
Yeah.
So it's good that it's letting you know now. And you can also just flick it off the screen like an iPad.
It's cool.
So it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Cool. Very cool. What else, Belinda? Any other views on the other stories?
Spotify was interesting. They're building their subscriber base but losing money at the same time. So they've got a big challenge ahead, especially with Apple coming out with their music.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so.
Wait and see.
The Twitter thing is interesting that the co-founder has taken over as interim CEO now. So they've had a few bumps in the road, I think, at the start. I remember the fail whale when I first joined Twitter. It always came up with that picture, and I was like, "Why?" Every time the whale would come up, I was like, "This is."
Yes.
Who do you talk to on Twitter, Belinda? Do you talk to many people on Twitter?
Sorry about that. My microphone went.
Wow. I just gave a weird noise.
Heard a
Is she
frying
there?
sound.
Belinda? I think we might have lost Belinda.
Belinda down. Belinda
Okay.
down.
We'll be back. She'll be back. Georgia, what about you? What's them views and them stories?
Yeah, I think that there's like some really interesting things that are happening with each of them. I think that, El Capitan. I think that there's like a whole bunch of really cool things that are happening with Apple. I think that for Spotify, with them losing money at the same time, they're going to be in a really difficult place because now they're going to be also losing more money because some of their user base, even if Apple is the least amount successful that Apple has ever been, they're going to be taking from Spotify and Pandora. And so the chances are that they're going to be losing even more money because of that. And so I think that that puts Spotify, even at its best place, in a really dangerous, precarious position. And so they may have to relook at how they monetize their revenue, perhaps through more ads or through changing percentages if they hope to survive. I love the fact of the split screen for the multitasking on the iPad. I think that it's really going to resurrect iPads all over the world because now that people have their phablets on their phones, and then you probably have a Mac at some place for where did the iPad really fit in. So I love the fact that it's going to have picture-in-picture and it's going to have its split screen. So I think that this is going to be a huge resurrection for iPads everywhere.
Yeah, definitely. Do you have an iPad, Georgia?
I have like 1,000 of them. So
Really?
we review. I do. I think I have maybe 8 iPads in my house.
Wow.
Because we review them. So like, we get the new one, we review it. And so I have them everywhere. And I think every single one of my iPads is dead. Not even kidding. I use some of them for podcasting sometimes, like just to see and as cameras. But I haven't really been using them because I do have a 6 Plus, so I have a huge phone, and then I have my MacBook Air, and the iPad just did not have an ecosystem to fit in because of that. With split screen, that is a resurrection for me because I like being able to do that. I can open up like a set of sheets and I can look at notes while listening to video with picture-in-picture and do that all at the same time. So I think that that's what the iPad needed. They
Georgia,
needed a revamp.
Have you tried it yet? Have you been able to get the dev version on one of your iPads?
No, I haven't yet, and I will probably wait a little bit because I don't really do the review stories, so I usually wait until everyone else has tested it out and see how it goes to be able to deal with it. I also have to like take 1,000 power cords to resurrect the dead iPads that I have all around me. But I will test it out, and I think that it might be a nice game changer for me, for my iPads. But I'll have to see.
All right.
Yeah, and I think it's a good reason for people to upgrade, because I'm still stuck with my 3rd gen iPad.
Yeah.
And my whole point was like, oh, there's really nothing compelling that makes me, it'll be faster, sure, but, and now it's a reason to upgrade. So I think that people will.
Well, we're not sure, though, which iPads it's going to be able to be fit with. So they did say the iPad Air 2, but we're not sure if it's going to be on all of them. I think that hopefully that it will be. I think that it would behoove them to be able to do that. But it also will probably increase sales of newer iPads.
Yeah, I would think so. And like you, I feel very similarly. I use the iPhone 6 Plus and I have a Nexus 6 and I don't ever touch the iPad anymore. It just kind of sits there,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's a nice paperweight.
Exactly. So it's nice to see them introducing something that sets them apart, at least on the iPad. So that's good.
Yeah, I use my iPad every day. iPad every day.
Do you really?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I use it for airplane. That.
Now, did you get the 6 or the 6 Plus?
I did, Jennifer. Yeah.
You got the 6. Okay.
6. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the iPad. Love the iPad. I use it every day and stuff, and watch TV on it. It's pretty cool. Belinda, you back?
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. My microphone went all static.
Okay. Do you use your iPad much?
So yeah, I use it every day. So it's very, very handy. Can't wait for the update. That'll be really good.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Picture in picture and all that.
Yeah.
And splits. I've always wanted it to have a split screen. So
yeah,
that'll be good. That'll be awesome.
Yeah, definitely. No Apple TV this time, Georgia. What's going on with the Apple TV?
No, well, there was a lot of talk. Early on, we had heard all of the rumors that they were not going to be able to implement the changes that they wanted for the Apple TV. So we've been waiting for an Apple TV for a really long time, updated. And there was also talk that for the HomeKit, it was going to be used as perhaps a hub to be able to deal with changes. For me, I don't use my Apple TV a lot of time. Like I use it mostly for AirPlay. So I think that it would be beneficial for them to have an update, but they weren't able to get everything that they needed in order to be implemented. So I would assume that we're going to be waiting another, set of 6 months to a year before we're going to find anything new that's going to be coming out with that. But a lot of people were really, really upset about that because people were hopeful. But we did hear the rumors really strongly from almost every single source that it was not going to happen.
All right. Oh, well, we'll have to wait then. Let's go to Belinda. So any views on them stories or before you cut out because your microphone went off?
What was I talking about? I lost my train of thought after that.
I can't remember.
I was talking about Spotify, how
Spotify.
it's losing money and Apple is hot on its heels and they've got more of a bigger user base, so it's going to be pretty easy for them to take over.
Yeah.
I can just predict it now. They could possibly put Spotify out of business, but
well, yeah, exactly. Especially with them they're hemorrhaging money in an insane amount, though they have a huge user base. So that's, Apple does one thing really well, which is, have profits. They could buy Spotify 10 times over and have another $9 billion to spare.
And Spotify have to pay the artists as well. 70% of their money goes towards them. So
yeah, not really the artists though. The record labels, so
the
artists
labels,
themselves. They get that secondarily, which makes the artists themselves pretty upset. But with such a huge amount of profit, going there, and then Spotify with all of the costs, and I don't know if they'll be able to recover because they will only be losing more money after Apple comes out with their music service.
Yeah, because it was 197 million last year.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
A lot of money. Jacob, what's your views on them stories, mate?
About the El Capitan.
El Capitan.
El Capitan.
Sorry, that's the way you have to say it.
El Capitan.
Yeah.
It has to. It almost sounds like a parody. Every time I hear it, I want to chuckle. I'm like, really? Who thought of that?
Yeah.
Anyways.
I know.
It's French.
French.
Actually, I believe it's a mountain in Yosemite.
My grandma's French.
That's funny, Jacob.
My grandma's French, and she's from France.
It's not French. It's Mexican. Spanish, but I mean it's
Spanish. Yeah.
Spanish. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, same difference.
Okay. I like the ideas of the mail and stuff being updated to work better. And also the iPad split screen. Brad will have to give us a little update on that when he gets it.
Yeah, I will, mate.
Please do, because we want to know what the good parts and the fails are. And what's needed.
All right. What else?
Spotify. I'm gonna stay with Spotify. Because
Are you gonna test out though the Apple Music though? Or not even?
He can't. He's got no money.
It's free though. It's
Can't afford
free.
Well, free trial.
You can't afford free.
He's a Windows person.
Oh,
So-
oh.
Yeah.
One of those rare people.
Oh no! Don't admit that.
I am actually a
He's a
Windows.
he's a Microsoft person.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, I think he's got
geez.
an
You are
iPad
now
Touch or
shunned
something.
For the rest of the
iPad.
He hasn't. Jacob, what Apple stuff do you have?
I have an iPad, iPod,
That would work.
actually 3 iPods.
Yeah, 3 iPods, Apple TV.
Yep.
2 iPads.
Yep.
Okay, you can you're still good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You can't shun me for that.
No, can't shut it anymore.
Shun.
All right, let's go to Steve. What about you, Steve?
Oh boy, what a broadcast. Okay, there's a couple of things with mentioning about the multi-view multitasking on the iPad. I think they're going to restrict it to the iPad Air 2 and above, simply because for this feature to work, you're going to need more memory, probably more processor and GPU power. So they could be worried about performance issues, anything lower. Of course, Apple tend to, if you want a new feature, you got to upgrade their hardware often, but I think it also has to do with performance issues. And on Spotify, while they increased or doubled their subscription rate, their paid subscriptions, they also doubled their free accounts, which was, I believe, 40 to 75 million, which means they're going to be having to pay for bandwidth, more for artists, and so on. I don't think they're going to be able to go with their current pricing model, considering the paid advertising, I don't think really pays enough for that. And so actually, Spotify has a lot more to lose than Apple, because Apple primarily makes most of its money in hardware devices, not really services or software.
All right, we'll have to see. Are you going to get the Apple Music, Steve? Sign up to it?
Not really. I don't really use streaming music enough. Of course, now they're going to be getting rid of their streaming music for their free account, so I'll have to either look in another medium or Shoutcast server or something.
Is that for Spotify, Steve?
Yeah, that might be another way to do it. Of course, I'd just be adding to their current money loss if I go on their free account. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I buy the prepaid cards for Spotify. They come in handy.
Oh yeah, probably.
Yeah. I just pay for 3 months and then I'm paid up. You know, don't need to worry about paying it.
Oh, true.
Paying for it. So yeah, hopefully Apple will do the same thing. I'm sure they will.
You could probably use an iTunes card or something.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
whatever.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, that's what they'll use probably. What about you, Jody?
Aha. First of all, I use my iPad every day. Love my iPad. I like you, Brad. I like to watch TV on it. I binge watch on Netflix using the iPad, and it's an iPad Air.
Yeah,
Honestly,
iPad 2 or
I'm not sure if it's the 2 or not.
have you got the fingerprint on the? You probably know.
No. So it must be the 1.
Must be.
Yeah. I mean, I had gotten the 3, so it was, I guess, the first of the Airs. So it must be the iPad Air 1. But, it's funny, we were talking about upgrading, and, I used to jump on the bandwagon. The minute something came out, had to have it. I think the last thing I did that with was my 5S. And after that, I don't know, like the 6 is cool, but it just didn't seem like there were enough features that were that compelling to update. And obviously the size was different. I find that the iPad is incredibly convenient. I love the fact that it turns on quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that a split screen is going to mean a difference to me. I don't think it's going to make or break anything because I use it already. I think it's great that they add new features. I really didn't find anything that was that compelling. I mean, yeah, they're upgrading existing technology. Obviously the operating system for the watch is being updated in the native apps. I think that's cool. I think those are features that should have been incorporated when they launched it. But forgive me if I'm missing something, but I didn't think that there was anything that was that earth-shattering or compelling or like, oh my God, I got to go wait in line. Am I wrong?
I'm not telling you the truth, not really
It's
sure.
probably because they already launched the Apple Watch, so there wasn't really anything.
Yeah, I think, Jody, you need a new iPhone and the Apple Watch.
Well, I'm waiting for the 6S.
Yeah, you need a new everything.
I didn't want to, order something and then wait for it to come. I really wanted to go to the store. So, who knows? Maybe I'll mosey over and...
How far away from the Apple Store, Jody?
Oh my gosh, it's right down the street.
Okay, well, you should FaceTime us and then show us around your store.
I can do that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it's nice. The thing that I found with the Apple Store, I used to walk in and I would be absolutely amazed and impressed with just the whole culture of it.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether it's a function of becoming a little bit jaded, Did you guys catch the article recently where the Apple employees are filing suit because they feel like they're being treated like common thieves? Apparently, when they leave work, they have a ritual they have to go through where their purses or whatever they brought in with them are being checked just to make sure that they're not stealing anything. And they don't feel like they're valued. They feel like they're being treated rather unfairly. I think that kind of spills over because what I've noticed over the past, I want to say 6 months to maybe 3/4 of a year, when I go in the store, I don't get the same feeling of like, oh my God, these people are amazing and they make me feel amazing. I feel kind of like, I don't know, like they're less attentive. They don't just seem to care as much, and maybe it's because they're not happy. I don't know.
Really? What? They don't look after you when you go into the store?
No, in fact, the last time I went in, I bought you remember I had all those problems with my MacBook, MacBook Pro, and I wound up buying a new one because I got one. I swear it's a lemon. The thing it's just a dog, and as many times as I've taken it in to be repaired, it doesn't seem to get fixed. The last time when I went to pick it up, you would have thought that I was invisible. Because you know how you walk in the store and immediately they recognize you and they try to direct you around?
Yeah.
I swear to God, it was the least Apple experience that I've ever had because I felt like I was invisible.
Wow.
And they kept moving me from one table to another table and nobody seemed to know what they were doing. They finally brought my repaired, and I'm using finger quotes, laptop out. They handed it to me with the wrapper on it and just said, here, sign this. I'm like, wait a minute, what did you do to it? And what am I signing? And I've never had to do that in an Apple store before. So
wow.
Maybe I'm a little jaded because I'm used to getting exemplary service, but it just seems like most recently it's not been the same experience. So I'm happy to take you in the Apple store. You guys can come in.
You should go. Yeah, Jody, you should go to the one in Australia.
Yeah,
definitely.
I think
customer service.
Go to one in Australia.
Like when I went in there a couple of months ago to try the Apple Watch, they came to me straight away and helped me straight away. I didn't have to wait around or anything. They probably don't want people stealing it. That's probably why. They probably don't want people loitering around.
Just a quick note.
I've gone in and had them wait on me right away. There's always been a line in the store.
Yeah, just a quick note on retail stores. It's pretty standard within the industry for doing bag checks, so it's not just Apple. In fact, some don't necessarily. It's a policy, but they don't necessarily, do it. I think what the big thing with Apple is they're not. Sometimes these bag checks would take 15 minutes or even longer, and a lot of employees were not getting paid for that time. They would simply clock out, then they would do the bag checks, and they have all these people waiting around, which they should be paid for. And I think it was one of the issues that came up.
That's a good point. Yep, they did say that.
Yeah, which Apple store do you go to, Belinda? High Point?
Yeah, they didn't even check my bag when I left.
They're saying they don't check my bag either.
Well, no, it's not the consumers, it's the employees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why it's weird that they're not checking customers, but they're checking.
Well, it'd be pretty hard to walk out with a laptop or something, wouldn't it?
Well, actually, employee theft is higher, I believe, than the consumer themselves. Believe it or not,
because they've got better access to everything.
Yeah,
so they just slip an iPhone.
Easier for them. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm also sure they'll probably have cameras and that as well, wouldn't they, Belinda?
Yeah, why don't they just get them on camera rather than just making them go through that?
Yeah, exactly. All right, anyway, Jacob, what's your view on all this?
I don't really have much to say.
All right.
You said it the best.
All right, yeah, okay. Well, try and get to an Apple store, Jake, if you can, mate. Get to one.
Someone would have to drive down here and take me to one. The closest one is my Best Buy.
Oh, so you don't actually have an Apple store like it's Best Buy, is it?
Yeah, they just have a mini store where they just have just a little bit, but it's ran by Best Buy.
Okay, well, you need to go to a proper Apple store.
Believe me, Best Buy is the Apple store in Gainesville.
Okay. Good stuff, Jacob. Who do we have on today, Jacob, as a guest?
Georgia Dow.
Hi.
Hello.
Welcome, Georgia.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm good.
All right. Jennifer, any questions for Georgia before we start? Tell us about what you do, Georgia, real quick.
Sure. I work for a website called iMore, and we handle Apple news and Apple reviews and everything that's kind of in the Apple ecosphere. We also go to different technology shows, and we run a whole bunch of podcasts. Plus, I do a gaming podcast called Isometric, and I also, in the daytime, I'm a psychotherapist. So I'm helping people deal with anxiety, parenting, depression, of various different issues that they may be dealing with. And so I do that during the day, and then I podcast and do tech stuff at night, which is a
Wow.
pretty sweet mix of life.
How do you manage your time? Wow, my goodness. You
I'm-
must be very busy.
I am very busy. I'm really lucky. I have a fabulous family, which support me, and because I work for myself, I can make my own hours. So I have certain days when I can podcast, certain times that I can podcast. So I left work, I ran down like right away, set up for one podcast, then I'm doing this podcast, and then I go back to it. But you do have to be good with time managing and prioritize the things that you enjoy doing. So that's what I try to do, so that I don't get overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm. So
But it's just so cool to get to do these things. So
to be able to do what you love
Yeah.
because it's two completely different sides, right? So it's nice because you do a podcast that brings it all together, actually.
Yes.
But
Yes, exactly.
yeah. So you do Zen and Tech. So can you tell
do
everyone
Zen
about
and Tech.
Zen and Tech? Yeah.
Sure, Zen and
And
Tech
I've listened to it. But go ahead.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
awesome. That's so cool. Zen and Tech is a podcast that is on the psychology and technology and how you can merge them together to live a more centered life. And so we deal with anxiety, panic attacks, technology, packing, parenting, all kinds of different things, and how you can use tech to make your life a little bit more easy in those respects. And I do one on culture and technology called Vector as well. So it's just a lot of fun. It's strange to think that people would listen to you talking about different things. It's just such a nice way to be able to reach people and hopefully make people, think about different issues, even if they don't agree.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. It's a wonderful platform to reach just a customized audience, really, and it's interesting just how I've learned so much from podcasts in general, and that's where I listen to a lot of my audio. It's either podcast or music, but gosh, podcasts take up most of my time when I'm hiking and when I'm cleaning and, so driving the car. So it's a wonderful medium. So did iMore bring you to Montreal? Because I know they're based out of Montreal, right? Or no?
We're based all over the place.
Okay.
So most of us, half of us are in Montreal, and then half of us are in Boston. And then Mobile Nations, which is the site that runs all of us, they run Windows Phone Central, Android Central, Crackberry, and iMore. They're based all over the place as well. And no, I actually always lived here. But they send us around and we get to cover all kinds of really cool, interesting new technologies and write about it so that other people don't have to try out tech that may not be as cool as they think and know which tech we really enjoy and like and get to use. Yeah. So I'm really lucky. It's a great website, and it's just a lot of fun to get to talk about the coolest new things in tech.
Yeah, sounds like it. Yeah, but it's just a dream come true. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, when did iMore become part of Mobile Nations? Has it always been a part of that? Or I think it was around before that, right? Or am I wrong?
No, actually, yeah. iMore it wasn't called iMore at the time. So it started off being called, the iPhone blog. And then after we were Tippy, TIPB, which was a horrible name, though. People were really attached to it, but you can't, whenever I would say, Georgia@tippy.com, and then I'd have to spell it out because it's just something that's not phonetic. And so we switched to iMore, but we already had a huge fan base. I remember running a phone giveaway for one of the first iPhones, and we had a contest where you had to do the craziest thing to win the phone. And so I know there was 2 people that got tattoos of TIPB with an iPhone on their bodies. I know.
Oh
We
my
stopped
God.
doing that after that. We were like, oh, no, no more. Please don't do that. And then we changed the name. So then I really feel bad. I still think about these people that have
Oh my
a
gosh.
TIPB on their body. And now it really means nothing. But people were so angry when we would change it. And I'm like, no, we got to change it. It is the right name. And then we became iMore, and which is so much easier to tell people how to find me on my email.
Well, it's a great name too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty good name. It's a pretty good
I
name.
like it. I like it.
Yeah.
And go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah. So we get to do all kinds of cool, crazy, insane things with stuff for fun.
And I know you do another. The other podcast you were saying it was a gaming podcast as well. And what was the name of that one?
That one's called Isometric.
Isometric.
And that one's it's a crazy wild podcast. I think we break every single podcasting rule that you could make. We have a whole bunch of inside jokes. We laugh. We're ridiculous. We do all kinds of silliness and have a lot of fun. It's like one of those podcasts that it's like a train wreck. We're just absolutely ridiculous on the entire show, but people seem to love it. I don't know why. It just, some things come together and just work better than the sum of its parts. And so we talk about gaming, and there's like, it's mostly girls, which is also really cool for gaming. There's not that many girl gaming podcasts out there, and it's a lot of fun.
Are you a big gamer then? Or no?
I'm not a huge gamer. I would say that I'm a mild to moderate gamer. I used to be a huge gamer. I have like a full-sized arcade cabinet in my I must be a gamer. I have a full-size arcade cabinet in my downstairs that plays like everything with every arcade in the sun. Plus I have like, my old Nintendos. I have a Rob the Robot. I have an Xbox and a Wii. Plus I game on that. But I don't have a lot of time to game. Right. So I'm there to talk about the psychology of games, and I do a lot more iOS games, but I play a lot of Candy Crush, probably way too much. Let's not talk about that. It's a sore spot.
Oh, goodness. I guess I should let somebody else ask some questions, because I could just monopolize you all night long. So, Brad?
You're doing so good.
That is fine, Jennifer. Ask away anything you want. That's good. You ask great questions, Jennifer.
Oh, thank you.
Jacob, any questions for Georgia?
I got two of them.
Yeah, go on.
And one of them is, when did you start at iMore?
That's a really good question. I don't remember. I think that it was in about 2008 is what I'm thinking, but I'm not sure. But I think it's about it's been like 7 years, I think, around there. And I used to write some articles. I'm not an exceptionally great writer, and do the podcasts with them and get to do it. So I'm kind of like an aberrant writer on the website for them.
All right, good stuff. So tell us about the iMore podcast. I watch it every week, Georgia, on Google Plus.
Yeah, for the iMore podcast, we do that. We cover all of the new Apple news, and we also talk about all the new Apple technology that's out there, and what are our thoughts and comments and the difficulties that might be there. And so it's nice. It's just a really quick, usually we're like an hour or less. So if you want to just go through what is the newest Apple news, we'll discuss it and laugh and talk about it and get each of the different perspectives. Renee's like really fabulously brilliant he knows every single statistic that Apple has ever come out with.
Right.
So that's always interesting to get his take on where Apple's going and why.
Yeah, he's actually been on this podcast before. We've actually had him on before.
Oh,
very cool.
wonderful.
Yeah,
he's just super cool.
Yeah, and who's the other guys on the podcast? What are their names?
So there's also Peter Cohen. He's fabulous. He writes. I like Peter because he'll write talk about all kinds of things that he's upset about, and he can get cranky and rant on. So that makes it really interesting to get his take on different things, because he feels very strongly about certain things. And I think that that's always interesting when someone has a strong opinion. And then there's also Serenity Caldwell, who's pretty sweet, cool. She is also she does rollerblading. on a team, so roller derby on a team. So that's also cool. And she does a lot of the different writing on the how-tos and what they're dealing with and cool, new, interesting things. And plus, she's also a very good photographer. So she can go through all of the different things with the aperture rates and the tech on why, certain cameras will be good versus others.
Very cool. Do you have a favorite Apple device or gadget you like to use?
If I had to say everything, it would be my iPhone 6 Plus. I absolutely adore it. I thought that it would be too large and I would be sad with it, but I love the fact of the larger real estate on the screen, and I carry it with me everywhere. I think that it makes a great mid device in between my Air, which would be my next favorite, and then my watch, which, again, I don't think that its use is fully utilized because there's no native applications yet, and Apple watches are not yet being sold in the stores. So I think that for a lot of people ordering something online that they have not actually been able to use touch feel, even though they can go into the store to take a look at them. People feel uncomfortable with that.
I love that option with you can send the dots and stuff. What's that feature called? The drawing.
Oh, where you can share the
yes,
drawing?
you can send the sketches.
Yeah, and the other, what's that option called?
There's you can send the you see, I don't know the names to it, so you can send the pictures, and plus you can have the emoticons as well. And now you can actually send them in multiple colors, which is nice because I felt always bad that I had to use like a unicolor to make my little SpongeBob pictures, stick figures.
I think they're called like taps or something. You can tap and then it gets sent.
Oh yes, you can send taps to people.
Yeah,
I don't know. I've never really used the taps because my taps come in not like they come in when I open the application. They will not come in real time for me. So
fair enough.
I've never gotten tapped.
Okay, fair enough. I love the Apple Watch. I love it. I've had mine for a while and I use it every day. I have it on
Let me ask you both a question because we both have Apple Watches. So when you do try to send a tap to someone else, do you send it via the phone number, via an iMessage, or how does that work? You just send it to a phone number and it knows that the other person has an Apple Watch?
Yeah, you just add them to your friends list, and then if they're using an email address or a phone number, you just add that in, and then
Yeah, they have to have an Apple Watch. So in order to add someone to the contacts, you want to choose someone that has an Apple Watch. If you send it to someone that does not, or someone that's on an Android, it's not going to happen. So they're not going to get a taptic feedback return to that. So my group of friends is small because I have some people on it that's in my contact list that do not have Apple Watches, but then I know it's not going to be sent to them.
Yeah,
right.
Because the only way you're going to know if they have an Apple Watch is they show like a hand on the contact.
Oh, so you can see it shows you whether or not they have one.
Watch,
okay. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Jacob, do you have a question for Georgia as well? Go ahead.
Well, it's not really about. I was just wanting to know how she found out about Groot, her photo.
So it's kind of a funny story. So we were doing a show, a podcast, and one of the people in that podcast, Guy English, had said that he's going to give away a Groot, like the little tiny bobblehead Groots, to the first people that tweet him. And so the podcast hadn't gone live yet, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to be the first one then. And he's like, yeah, sure. If you were the first one, you're going to be one of the 4 that get a Groot. And so I sent him a tweet. I totally gamed the system. I apologize. That's completely unfair. And it took, I don't know, I think 3-4 months before it even showed up. Every few weeks he'd say, did you ever get the Groot? And I'm like, no, it never came in. And then in the end, I ended up getting 2. So I have a little bobblehead Groot because of that, gaming the fact that I'm on a podcast as someone that was doing a giveaway. I just now sound like a horrible person.
That's cool. Jacob, explain to people what that is.
I don't really know much. It's just a alien figure from one of the movies I saw on a commercial.
What was the name of the film? What the heck was it? It was such a cute film.
Something of the universe or
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah,
That's it. Yeah. Yes, thank you.
The only thing he says is "I am Groot."
Mm-hmm. Yes, he's kind of like a tree, So
he's kind of a tree.
Yeah, it's cute.
I know that Groot is from Pop.
Yes, you can get the Groot. The little guy that we got was from Pop. And they have different little bobbleheads as well, but I think that Groot is really the only adorably cute one. So that's why I use him as I used to have something a little bit creepier as my Skype avatar, which was I'm not going to get into it. It's a Handa. No one would know what that is. It's a long story from one of my podcasts, but it just looked scary and creepy to people, and so I thought Groot would be cute and much more likable.
Yeah, we just wondering
Very likable.
what that photo was on your Skype there, Georgia, but we weren't sure what it is.
Right. That's not the way I look in real life. You were scared.
Hey, it's just like what I have on my photo.
Right.
Yeah.
The Nest fire alarm. No, it's not fire alarm. It was that is the fire alarm, right?
Yeah, it's my Nest fire alarm.
That is the fire alarm. Yeah.
He loves fire alarms. I'm not sure why.
Yeah.
Jake,
Hey.
what did you buy on Amazon the other day, mate? Just mention that real quick. What is that? Just tell Jennifer.
A weather machine.
A weather machine.
It makes weather?
Well, weather.
You're making weather?
Weather
You
radio.
make some sunshine
Can you make
in
some
Montreal.
nice weather?
Yeah, I want to.
Yeah, I want sun here in Melbourne.
Freezing.
like some
That'll be-
sunshine.
hey, I'll make your weather very turbulent.
That's
Tornado.
not nice.
No, in a good way.
Oh, okay. Turbulent. As long as it's in a good way, then that's all right.
Yeah. Belinda, any questions for Georgia?
Yeah, I was just going to ask about your background and how you got involved in the whole podcasting thing.
It's a really I guess it's a kind of a funny story. When the iPhone blog was being started up, it was all men, and Renee, who wanted to have some more views on women and differing opinions, and so he had asked me. He knew that I loved technology and gadgets, so he asked if I wanted to contribute to the website as well. And so that's how I started off. I was really just fortunate in being in the right place at the right time. And then, though, we did the podcast. I remember it was a video podcast. All you could see were my eyebrows, and I was so nervous. They were like asking questions, and it was just really, I had no clue what I was doing. And he luckily kept me on, and I became better at, contributing and just discussing all the different technologies and the things that were out there. And so that's the way that it began.
Yeah, and I was also interested in, because you mentioned gaming, what sort of games have you reviewed?
So I don't actually review the games. I talk about them on the podcast, but I don't
right.
write or review them. But my favorite type of games, I love puzzle games, and I love Shadow of Mordor. It's probably one of my favorite large games that are out there, because you can play it from many different strategies, and it's not a game that has I don't like games that take a lot of know-how in order to start up, because I feel frustrated and helpless, and I can feel like that in real life. I don't need to feel like that in a video game. So those are usually the main type of games that I have. And now I play a lot of games that I can just put down quickly. So a lot of different iOS games that I will test out. But I think that it takes a lot for a game to captivate me. I think that after a while you've just played so many of them that it needs to be something that is going to, make me feel good, relieve stress, and be an enjoyable world sphere that I get to become a part of.
Yeah, and also being a psychotherapist, what do you think of this whole gaming addiction that they're talking about lately?
I think that it's a really big deal. I think that people underplay it, and I have kids myself, and I don't let them game like just as they want. They have very little gaming time. I think that it's easier. It's a great babysitter, which I fully understand, and kids love to do it, and they seem really calm and at ease when they're playing games. But I don't think that it's great for their brains. These games are made to be exceptionally addictive. The amount of dopamine that you get from playing a video game, it can reach levels of which you would be addicted to a illicit drug. And I don't think the games are dangerous, like they're going to make you violent or make you a bad person, but you are going to get better at whatever you choose to practice. And so if you are practicing video games, you are not using your brain power to learn other skills. And gaming is tacitly easy. So, unless you want to become a sniper, which gaming will make you a better sniper, if you wish to deal with any issues that are going to be in the public system or dealing with people, you need to increase your social skills. And if you have almost anything up against a game to a teenager, they're going to choose the game instead of doing anything else. And so I think that because of that, it's inherently dangerous. And so though I have a gaming podcast and I have like every single video game and I have like a million computers, and not a million computers, but I have just a lot of tech in my home, we don't watch TV and we don't play tech during the day. And when we do, it is small, limited amounts of times of which my children have earned. So, yeah, I have a very strong view on gaming and addiction, though I do a gaming podcast.
Good on you. Very good rules you have in the house there, George.
Fascinating information. Yeah, no, I want to ask you, because I know people that are in their mid-20s, let's say 25, 26 years old, and they're all they want to do is play their game. They're addicted to it. They spend hours upon hours the entire weekend, every evening. And I'm just, how can you be so addicted to it? What is it? Oh, you have to play it. I'm like, I just don't have the time to sit there and play. And I'll try and I'll set like a timer for an hour. I'm like, okay, yeah, this is fun, but I'm not driven to do it more. But they are just addicted to it. And so I'm wondering, is there an age frame, if you will, where people finally grow out of it?
They probably won't, unfortunately. I've played games way too much and spent time in it. So I actually understand that feeling. Like if you get to be in your real life, you're in school and you're working hard and things are really, really difficult. And then you get to be in this world where you become a god, when things are a system that you fully understand, that you know how many times you have to do something and you will get a reward for it, and that is guaranteed in a certain amount of times, and that you get to have interactions without any cost, and you get to make friends without any worry, that you don't have to feel the feelings of rejection, that you can be part of a social group. It is a really insidiously addictive type of place to be. And so when you get registered, when your brain gets hit with this immediate feedback of when you press a button, something happens, and it's amazing things, and you get to be part of something big and a group, it's something that is very appealing, and especially to people that might have difficulty with social skills or feel a little bit more shy in the outside world or are living a really difficult life. This is a great way of avoidance and escape and deflection to real-world problems, and you don't have to think of them for those moments. And so because of that, odds are, and that's why I'm not having my kids at a young age play games, so that they learn other skills and they do other things, because I want them, I want them to game the world, to get the most skills to be able to actually help them live better lives. And I don't want them to be easily fed into the addiction cycle, which is really, really quick. And, it is really hard then to choose to, like, the real world is not as exciting as a game. Like, maybe for some people, but for most people it's not. And so that's why I'm limiting the amount of time that they play there, because
That's smart.
Actually I have people that are in their 30s and 40s that are still addicted to games, and it may not stop. It is an addiction just like drugs, just like gambling, just like falling in love types of addictions. It's exactly the same system of your brain that it's playing on, and it is just as addictive and a lot more difficult to get rid of, because a lot of people say it's not that bad because
it's a game.
Because it's a game. Because it's like they'll say, well, it's just like watching TV or reading a book, and I'll say it's not, and it isn't. Because and you can still use TV or a book as an avoidance, but it's different what's happening in your brain. And so also for people that might have ADHD or attention issues or social issues, this is exceptionally detrimental, because then you're not working on making the problem better. You're actually making it worse.
That's interesting. And you're right. They do choose that instead of other things, of other outside activities, of other things that would be fun, but that you think that a normal person would, not that they're not normal, but that
because
would
it
find
isn't as
fun.
much fun. You're not getting as much dopamine. You're not.
Interesting.
It's not the same amount, right? So
I never thought of it that way. I just thought, well, God, when are you boys going to grow up? Why are you still
they won't. They will never. And if your children are playing more games than you think they should, they will not be able to stop it. It's not even a fair question for you to ask. They might look back on their life and say, I wish I had whatever else. But it's beyond their own control if they are dealing with an addiction. Not all kids are. There are certain kids that will be more prone to being addicted versus others. If your child can get off in a timely manner and they're not aggressive or angry or frustrated with the game or having to stop it at any point in time, then that's great. If your child is, or they become irritable or more foul, you should be wary of that. The amount of children that I deal with video game addictions is mammoth and growing. And I have parents that come to me when I say you should limit the amount. I recommend that you should limit the amount of times that your child plays. They will often give to me, but they'll be upset with me. And I'm like, yes, but you wouldn't let them shoot heroin, or you wouldn't let them gamble if you knew that that was bad for them and they were dealing with an addiction. They said, no, I wouldn't. It truly is a very similar system that's working on the brain. It just doesn't look or seem as bad.
That's fascinating.
Interesting. Jody, any questions?
Yeah, I don't want to keep too long, but this conversation is going in an interesting place. Society today, right? We're always on. We're always communicating, whether it's email, whether it's texting, whether it's social media, and it seems like it's a pervasive addiction, not just kids.
Yeah.
Do you see this in your practice? I mean,
yeah,
people being
I do.
too stressed out and.
No, I think that you're absolutely right. I think that there's a huge danger we never turn off, right? Like people can reach by their work, by their friends, by their families, always, every time. And it's interesting because have become, and I love technology, so don't take this a rant that I don't like tech. I love tech. I use every new tech, but we have become a slave to our technology instead of our technology being a slave to us. And I think that that's very dangerous. I think that us not being able to turn off, being able to wait before we return something. I go to tech conferences where we will be at a table with real people and everyone is using their phone, a pet peeve of mine. And they're just constantly having to interact with, deal with. And I also have gone through that feeling of tech withdrawal when I'm out of the internet, that I feel like I'm no longer connected to the hive mind. And there's that feeling of loss because of that. I think that there is a huge danger to our stress levels, though, because we won't come down from that very easily. And I think that it's very hard for people to learn that they don't have to immediately answer question, and just the beeping and buzzing and constant ringing and tapping. My phone does nothing. It does not ring, it does not beep, and it does not vibrate. I have alarms on it, and that's it. And so if I'm anywhere, I flip my phone upside down, and I will check it when I choose to, instead of the other way around. And so I think that for me, it made a huge difference to my levels of stress. And I think that there is a real danger with constantly being watched, monitored, answering, and dealing with things, and that we just don't know how to be and how to not have something constantly interacting with us. I think that our ability to deal with boredom and suffering has, astronomically gone down. And a lot of different fields, in order to get good at, go through school, we need to be able to deal with suffering and boredom and doing the regular, placating of life, of the simple stuff, and we're not that good at it. And myself, if I have to wait 10 minutes, I'll be playing Candy Crush instead of just sitting there and being at peace and thinking and waiting. So I'm also, a part of the ecosystem that I've grown to that. But I think that you're absolutely right. It's an issue that we all need to think about, how much the technology takes from us versus how much it gives back.
And it brings up another interesting dilemma. And I know I'm guilty of this. And I know Brad, I think, said that he did it this past week when Orange Was the New Black came out. But there was an article that came out this week about binge watching and that it could be linked to depression. And I never thought of it as being a depressive activity. What are your thoughts about binge watching?
I have not found that actually. I think that like going on Facebook all the time and playing a lot of video games and other avoidance activities, yes, I think that can, for Facebook and other things, you see all of these people's lives that are fabulous looking and really, really great. And so you think to yourself that your life is a pallor in comparison to that. But I will binge watch a set of shows and I just find happiness and joy from it. And I've not seen any of my clients that I'm an anxiety and depression specialist. So I have not seen any of my clients that are dealing with depression that binge watching, unless it is an avoidance activity, unless you're actually using that to avoid life, which in that case, it would be really bad. So you're not doing other things. You're choosing to watch a show when you should be doing paperwork, and you keep on repeating that process because you're using that as a deflection from dealing, or an avoidance from dealing with the things that you really need to. And that anything would be bad. But binge watching in and of itself, go for it, enjoy it, go crazy. Just make sure that you still get the stuff off your plate that you need to at the same time. I will binge watch a show if possible, and it is a great happiness to me. And I don't feel down afterwards. And I haven't seen it in my clients, though. If they use video games and TV instead of living, then that becomes an issue. So binge watching in and of itself, I have not found to be a antagonist to becoming more depressed.
All right,
okay, I agree with you. Yeah, it was a study that was done at I think University of Texas. So
I would love for you to send it to me just to take a look. I love to see if the studies are done properly and where they got it, because I think a lot of people think that causality and correlation are the same thing, and they're not often. So it's intriguing.
I will put the article from Time Magazine in the show notes.
Thank you.
Jacob sent me a gaming sticker. He must love gaming.
He's addicted.
Yeah, he is.
Might have to send him to one of those Chinese boot camps.
You must. Yeah, I never use my Xbox anymore, Belinda. I know you use. Do you use yours?
No, I haven't used it for like 3 weeks.
No, I haven't used. I don't use it a lot.
I'm too busy working.
Gamers Anonymous.
Play games. I think
if I go on it, I don't want to get addicted. So
yeah, same. I just find it really boring sometimes. I get really bored easy sitting there.
Yeah. Try Shadow of Mordor.
Yeah, I just rather go outside.
That's a good
been
game.
playing GTA 5, and it's like it's too hard to get off it once you're on it.
I hear you.
Yeah. Do you have an Xbox One, Georgia?
Yes, I don't. I don't have an Xbox One. I have a 360. And I probably won't get it. I'm gonna wait a little while until the new gaming systems come out. I think that I'm most intrigued with Oculus just because I would like to have a more virtual experience when I game. I'd love to actually really be able to fight things and actually get some exercise through that. So I'm waiting till something really pulls me to spend the money towards it.
But then you're going to binge game.
You tried that, Georgia? That thing? Have you tried it?
Oculus? Yeah. No, unfortunately, when I went to CES, the day that I left was the day that we were set to try out Oculus. So everyone else from iMore got to try it out. And it was the one thing that I was dying to do. So everyone got a lot of pleasure in tweeting out all of their pictures of them using Oculus. So I've never used Oculus ever. And I'm still waiting.
I think we all want to try it on the show. Steve, what's your final of the show? Let's wrap up, mate. Any questions before we go?
No questions. It's great to find out that binge watching is okay. I do that all the time. Yeah.
What about drinking Coke? Is that bad too, Georgia?
Drinking Coke, the drink?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, again, everything in moderation. Okay. So if you're not finding anything different, you don't have diabetes in your family, you're not. I used to drink a 2-liter with a straw. That probably is not good to do in one sitting. But anything in moderation, don't worry too much about it. Anything that you have to do, that's your red flag.
Okay, interesting. All right, Belinda, what's your final view of the show? Where can they get hold of you?
Yeah, it was a fantastic show, and you can get me at bdemi on Twitter.
Okay, you get me on Twitter at Brad Oz on Techwebcast. Jake, what about you, mate?
You can follow me at jazzbot326691Z.
Good job, mate. Jennifer, what about you?
You can find me at jenniferruggiero.com or getnerdywithit.com as well. And on Twitter, I'm jruggiero.
Okay, good stuff.
J-R-U-G-G-E-R.
Jody, what about you?
Twitter, you can find me as Sunswept. Find me at my website, webmarcom.net, and all the usual places as Jody Rains.
All right, good stuff. And what about you, Georgia? Thanks for being on. Appreciate your time.
Oh, well, thank you so much for having me. You can find me on Twitter. It's at Georgia_Dow.
All right. Jacob.
Yes, Brad?
Thanks for being on, mate.
You're welcome.
Did you do Steve?
Yeah, Steve, did I ask you?
Oh, not yet, but yeah, you can find me on Twitter as Chatterbox_live, and then I'm going to do some more binge watching.
Yeah, same. I'm going to re-watch Orange is the New Black again.
I binged watched Breaking Bad once.
Really?
Yeah.
I did too.
Pretty
too.
Oh,
heavy.
good.
Have you seen the show Better Call Saul, Georgia?
I did. I didn't really particularly like it.
Really?
It was okay. It didn't have the same panache that I thought Breaking Bad did, and it was I don't know, the attempts at humor. Wasn't. It was a little no.
What about Sons of Anarchy? Did you ever seen Sons of
I did. I liked Sons of Anarchy up until season 4. And that's when I stopped watching it. There's some shows where there's a few lines and you're like, oh, that was written by a 13-year-old. I'm gone. And that was it. I was just done, which is too bad because I loved it up until then. But I'm into violent, horrible shows.
You should watch season 7 of it.
Yeah? Okay.
Season.
Maybe I'll skip right to it.
Yeah, just
skip to the last season.
Yeah.
Last few
Skip to
seasons.
the last season and finish it off.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no, I like Vikings and Spartacus and Game of Thrones. I've just started Sense8, and I like some gory shows.
Walking Dead.
Walking Dead, yes, definitely. I watched The Walking Dead as well. It's a great show.
Right, what about you, Jacob? Do you watch any of these shows, mate?
No, but I super binge watched Power Rangers from season 1 all the way to season 12.
Oh yeah. Go Power Rangers, Mighty Morphin Power. I wanted to be the pink Power Ranger for a lot of my life. That's why I did martial arts. They never hired me. It's okay. I'll get over it.
All right. What about you, Jennifer? Do you watch any shows at all?
I do. I've been watching, I love Silicon Valley. So I've been watching that as of late. And you know what I started getting into is someone told me to watch Grey's Anatomy, and I never watched it. I've never been into hospital shows, you know. So I started watching it just because she said, "Oh, it's so good. You have to watch it. You have to." And I've been addicted to it. So for the past month, now I'm in season 6, but I've been watching it like nonstop, just like every free moment I have. Grey's Anatomy. It's really good. It really touches. I think it's really good for women too, in particular. Like it just, I've cried so much during this show. It's
that
great.
sounds like an addiction.
Yeah.
Actually, talking of TV stuff, Jake, do you want to mention that TiVo update on the website, mate? Just real quick before we go, I want to talk about that real quick.
Yeah, the TiVo has now a new TiVo online service where you can stream stuff from your TiVo.
Oh no, on the website.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, on the website. Yeah. Have you seen it, Jennifer?
I saw you share a news story about it, but I haven't investigated it myself.
Brad and I, we investigated it thoroughly.
Good. I love TiVo, so I'm a fan of everything they do.
Yeah, same. I love TiVo too.
Oh, and Jennifer?
Yeah.
It looks like they're changing the logo.
I hope not.
Oh no, they can't get rid of the TV guy.
Yeah, no,
the TiVo guy.
Yeah,
They're keeping him. They're keeping him.
Okay.
It's for the online part of it.
Oh, okay. As long as they don't get rid of the TiVo guy, then I'm fine.
Yeah, that's going to stay on the master website.
Good.
So when we get your Apple Watch, Jennifer, very soon, or
it looks like it's going to be probably at the end of June or the beginning of July. So we'll see.
You should get it before then.
I hope so.
Yeah, I got mine early.
So. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Belinda, do you want to say before we go? Because I just want to even this episode, the length of it.
No, just a good show.
All right.
Yeah.
Are you going next week?
Yes, for sure.
All right. How's your IQ3 going, by the way?
Yeah, it's much better now. It was a bit glitchy when because I moved house and then they had to set it up again and everything, and it was just some big confusion over the change of address and everything. So, yeah. So I upgraded to the movies because I kept seeing that there's movies on that I want to watch and I didn't have the movies package, so moved up to that.
So you got no more Netflix anymore?
No, I cancelled that because I didn't have enough content.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
They need to fix that, I reckon.
Stan seems to have more content or something.
Yeah, I cancel. Stan don't use Stan anymore.
Yeah, I've cancelled that one as well. So
Everything's on Foxtel for me.
yeah, it's
I
all
find-
in HD and
Yeah.
you can just watch it straight away. You don't have to wait for it or anything.
Yeah, okay. All right, Georgia, thanks for being on. Appreciate your time.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
No problem. Come back on any time if you want to come and chat about anything.
Thank you.
And, yeah, thanks for being on, everyone else.
Techwebcast. The hosts and guests are unsurpassed. Techwebcast. Cause technology, it moves so fast. Techwebcast. Ha! Stick around and you're gonna have a blast. Yeah! Techwebcast. Ha! Ha! Techwebcast. Big ups to Andrew, to Brad, Jody, Steve, and Jennifer.